Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
We are Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, and we love bringing the folks what they want. This is a piece folks keep asking me about all the time. We thought you'd like to see it too. When it comes to motorcycling, you know, you're out there to have a good time, but safety is the most important thing here, Keith. How does Eagle Lights sell safety?
Yeah, we sell lights and safety. We sell plug and play, high grade, high performance lighting for Harley Davidson and Indian motorcycles. So
what's wrong with the OEM lights that these motorcycles come with?
They're not bright and they're not safe. We offer plug and play high grade replacements for them. They're 3 times brighter and they're the best you can get.
How important is safety when it comes to riding a motorcycle? You ride yourself.
Yeah, it's the most important. If you want to keep riding, you want to stay safe.
And naturally lights help you see, and they also help you to be seen, and that all starts with the headlights.
Sure, so these are plug and play, at least 3 times brighter than the stock headlight. So when a non-company car is coming towards you, they're going to know you're there and you're going to be able to see what's on the road in front of you.
Excellent. Then you have a couple different styles here.
We have a variety of colors and a variety of styles. So we have our Halo style. It's a aesthetic upgrade. Some guys like that Halo look. We also have them available in chrome and black.
And let's go to the back of the bike now and talk taillights. Same sort of story there. You want it to look like it fits with your bike.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of different styles. This one's going to be one of our most popular. It's a strobing taillight. What ends up happening is when you hit the brake, it's going to strobe 3 times to let the people behind you know that you're there.
And most accidents on bikes happen when bikes are stopped, actually.
Yeah, at intersections and when turning. And that's when you're going to see the benefit of that light.
Cool. And you've got the red one and a couple other models as well?
Yep, we have them available in red, clear, and smoke. Today we have the red and the couple of smoked versions. And we have available in a bunch of different sizes. So these are layback design, which is a bit of a more sleek design. We also have them in a low profile if you don't want the blocky stock tail light.
Harley folks love to customize their bikes. They love different looks. How do you cover all that when it comes to the turn signals and the running lights?
So we have a bunch of different styles. These ones feature full running lights, all 48 LEDs, they light up white, and then they also color changes automatically to amber. So you don't actually have to do anything, it's all built into it. The ones on the bike that we installed, those have 24 white LEDs that go around the outside, and then there's going to be another 24 on the inside. A lot of guys like to use those to match the Halo style lights that we have.
And let's talk about installation for all of the lights here. You installed them in the studio. Didn't take a whole long time at all. How important is ease of installation to you?
Incredibly important. So we like to make things a 5-minute install. Taillight, it's 2 bolts and a plug. The headlight, 1 bolt and a plug. We like to make things simple. We have easy to follow instructions on our website, but honestly, you probably don't need them. It's pretty simple.
Obviously, folks are going to want to spend more time riding their bike than fixing it, so the ease of installation is important. Also, customer service when it comes to actually ordering these lights. How important is that to you at Eagle Lights?
Incredibly important. So if you call us, you talk to a real person. You talk to one of us. We'll help you. If you just call us with a year, make, model, we'll get you the right lights.
And speaking of year, make, model, how many different bikes do you cover? Is it just Harleys? Do you have other stuff available?
In the thousands. I mean, we cover Harley and Indians, main specialty, but we carry stuff from Honda, Triumph, you name it. We have a lot of lights for it.
And how do I know what you have in stock for my bike?
It's pretty simple. You just go to eaglelights.com, you punch in the year, make, model of your bike, and it will tell you exactly what you need.
So if you're not just looking for a headlight, then finding if it fits your bike, you put in your bike and it'll tell you everything that's available for that motorcycle. It's super cool. Folks that use your products, how much feedback do you get from them, and how much of your R&D comes from that?
A lot of it. We talk to Harley and Indian motorcycle owners all the time. They tell us what they don't like, and we release new products based on their feedback.
How important is it that you guys at Eagle Lights are also riders, and you know what works, what doesn't work, and that sort of thing?
I mean, I ride myself. I mean, that's how we started the company. So we wanted to make better lights because there were none available.
I know you're concerned with delivering a high-quality light that's easy to install. What if there's an issue? What kind of warranty do you offer?
Any of our lights, it's a lifetime warranty. As long as you own it, we'll take care of you.
Can't get any better than that. These lights are super high quality, way better than the OEM lights. They're going to help you be seen, and they're going to help you see out there on the road. Check them out at eaglelights.com. Stay tuned for more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com and more great gear for your ride.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics. Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist. And by Goose Grip, innovative lights.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Our friends at Steele Rubber always put on a big show for National Collector Car Appreciation Day. Well, a few months ago, we went to that show. You guys loved it, so we're going to show it to you again. Welcome to Steele Rubber Products in Denver, North Carolina. Here you can get just about any rubber gasket or seal made for vehicles in the last 100 years. And look what we came across here. This is a 1949 Divco. When's the last time you saw one of these? Well, there's all kinds of unique and interesting vehicles on the property. A whole lot to cover, so let's get started. Every car has a story, and this car's story starts back in 1969. It's a 69 Mercury Cyclone Cale Yarborough Special. How'd you fall in love with this car?
Well, when I was 9 years old, I met Cale Yarborough at the Mercury dealership and had my picture made with Cale beside one of these. I've always wanted one, but never could find one for sale. So I sold my Fairlane last year and found this car for sale in Chicago, Illinois.
This car's all original, but we know the first thing to go is always the rubber seals. So when you need rubber seals, what's it like to go to Steele Rubber for what you need?
Oh, it's great. Come up here, they always on the money. Got great products, like all original, made out of original material. It works great.
What have you bought from Steele Rubber for this car?
Well, when I got the car, I ordered a trunk rubber from the internet and it didn't work. It would not shut. I had to slam the truck. Come up here, got a piece of trunk rubber, and it shuts fine, just real easy and everything made for it. Perfect.
There are tons of car experts here at the Steele Rubber Show today, and Ray isn't one of them.
Yes, sir.
Ray, you've been at this for a couple of years. You've done a beautiful job on this 84 Monte Carlo. What have you done to it?
So we started out originally with an LM7 block, and then we went to AR5 transmission.
One thing that jumps out at me is the turbo. Tell me about that.
7880 oilless turbo. So, you know, as I was doing my research and all the cool kids were doing turbos, I was going to go naturally aspirated initially, but I started looking at the turbos. I didn't want to deal with all the filters, so, you know, every 3,000 miles, just squirt of oil, and then I'm good to go.
This car isn't that old, but how hard is it to find parts for it?
It's super hard, you know, from bushings to all types of rubber fitments. I'm definitely going to be looking into Steele Rubber from here on out. I had no idea this place was here. I learned that they can send you a catalog specifically designed for your vehicle, which would save me hours of research on the internet.
Danny Agosta is one of the folks in charge here at Steele Rubber for putting on this show for National Collector Car Appreciation Day. Danny, why is this the perfect occasion for Steele Rubber to hold such a big party?
Well, it's a national holiday, so it's just the perfect day to get together with our community, with our customers, and have the chance to recognize the hobby and just the camaraderie that you can get in these collector cars.
There's all kinds of cars here, Danny. What kind of rubber seals and parts can folks get for vehicles of all shapes and colors?
I mean, we got so many parts for so many different cars, from bumper to bumper. Everything for glass, doors, trunk, anything to keep the water out, to keep the wind noise out, you know, from molded items to extruded items, RVs and classic cars. I mean, we just have so many different parts, and the idea is just that you want to enjoy your vehicle, and we have the parts to help you do that.
How often are rubber seals and that sort of thing overlooked by people?
You know, it's not necessarily maybe one of the fun things to buy. It's not wheels, it's not gauges, it's not, you know, whatever, but it's absolutely essential, and it goes not just a long way for the performance, the sealing and all that stuff, but it really does make the car look good. Vent window seals, those go bad all the time, and they look a lot better whenever they're fresh.
I've talked to a lot of folks. They appreciate the variety of parts you have at Steele Rubber, but what about the quality? How can they be sure that they're getting good products from Steele Rubber?
Well, I mean, look around. You know, we're making this stuff in North Carolina. We've got our own compounds. They're modern compounds. They're not going to biodegrade like some of the stuff from the original. And there's a tremendous amount of care that goes into it, because we know that the person who's putting this on their vehicle wants it to be right the first time, and wants it to perform and look good and all this kind of stuff. So we go to an extreme length to make sure that all that stuff happens.
Do not go anywhere, because Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools, returns next with more from Steele Rubber. And oh, by the way, you're not going to want to miss this week's Motorhead of the Week.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com at Steele Rubber in North Carolina. Now, they're putting on a car show here that you would not believe. Wall-to-wall rolling works of art. This place is fantastic. And visitors to Steele Rubber today are getting a nice treat. They're getting a tour of the facility where they make all the molds and extrusions. Now, it all starts in the tool room. That's where they make the molds to make the parts that go on your car, and also the metal core so they can make those parts forever and ever. Now everything leaves there and goes to extrusion. That's where the rubber comes out in strips. They can chop that up and make smaller parts, and then it'll go to molding. That's where two different extruded parts can be put together in a mold to make a single part for your car. This is also where bumpers and that sort of thing that can't be extruded are made. From there, everything goes on to trim and packaging. That's where everything's cleaned up, ready to be put in a package and shipped to you. And of course, if you order something from SteeleRubber.com, it usually ships the same day you order it. It'll be right in your living room in a couple of days. When Ben Pepitone bought this 1964 Impala SS over 20 years ago, he made a few upgrades, and the first thing he started with was all this rubber seals, because that's the first thing to go. Where'd you find everything you needed for this car?
Right here at Steele Rubber.
Why did you like going to Steele Rubber for it?
They had everything I needed, and what I didn't need, they made.
How difficult was it 20 years ago to find what you needed for the car?
Very difficult. The internet was very young, and there wasn't a lot of people doing it.
How much on the car is from Steele Rubber?
Well, inside the door jamb, there's little rubbers that where you seal the window, the back window against the front door. That seal is almost impossible to find anywhere else. Also, the back door hinge for the gas door, there's two little rubbers, bumpers. You can't find them anywhere but here.
You can see from the wall of extrusions behind us that Steele Rubber makes seals for just about every vehicle from the last 100 years. But Danny, what if in the rare occasion someone comes across something you don't make, or maybe they're building something that you don't have?
Yeah, even for all the parts that we do have, it happens all the time. So we have a customer that calls in and we don't have it, so we might try to figure out if we've got something that'll match, and that's where we go to this extrusion wall. Hey, yeah, we do have something that'll match your door weather stripping, and that's what we do. And if you've got molded parts, sometimes we'll have that original sent in, so see if it's something we'll make.
And then under what conditions would you make something?
You know, we got to make business sense, but you know, a lot of cars are changing, the demographics are changing. So as we move up into the 80s and 90s, those cars are becoming more popular and the demand goes up, so it becomes a good business decision.
What about the folks that are maybe doing a resto mod or some sort of hot rod that's not really a stock sort of thing? What can you do for them?
Well, that's the good thing. Rubber really translates well to resto mods, and unless you're doing something like a chop top, you know, you're not really modifying a whole lot. But even with chop tops, we can make custom windshield gaskets to, you know, get right in there and right to your dimensions and get you a window gasket.
And if all else fails, Steele Rubber has a universal line. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so our universal line is basically our collection of extrusions that we make on all these other parts. But if you've got something that doesn't quite match, you know, usually we can find something that'll get your window in or get your door sealed, get your trunk sealed, or whatever you need.
You can see vehicles of all kinds here at Steele Rubber today. In fact, if you like vans, they've got them. There's a 66 Ford over there that looks fantastic. Well, this 64 Chevrolet over here, Eric, it's in a little different state than that. So you're going to start restoring it. How hard has it been to find parts for this thing?
Oh, you can't find parts for it. You can find a few that off a truck that'll fit it, and a few off of like a Chevy 2. They use the brakes off it, and a Corvair dash is what goes in it. But other than that, you're junkyarding it for the parts.
Conversely, what's it like when it comes to the window rubbers and all the seals around the vehicle?
Now, Steele Rubber Products makes all that. They make every piece of that. We checked into that before we ever bought the van to make sure that I could at least get it sealed back up and be the way I want it when I'm done.
John Bauer restored this 1932 Ford about 20 years ago, and since then, John, you've driven it about 30,000 miles.
Right.
What's it like to sit behind the wheel of something you worked so hard to restore?
It's kind of unbelievable because it drives so great, goes down the highway, you know, at 75, 80 miles an hour like crazy. And it's a trip seeing all the people rubbernecking to try to look at you and, you know, look over and wave and say hi, and it makes you feel good.
You restored several vehicles. What's it like to work with Steele Rubber to get the parts you need?
Oh, it's great. I mean, the quality's always there, and you know when you get it, it's going to fit.
Well, that's going to do it from Steele Rubber in Denver, North Carolina. But don't you worry, because there's still a whole lot more to come from Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. And by Walton Tool Company, made in the USA and tapping into good ideas for more than 150 years.
One of our favorite weeks here at Motorhead Garage is when we get to go to the PRI show, the Performance Racing Industry Show in Indianapolis. It happens every year. Thousands of vendors are there showing off their Go Fast stuff. Tens of thousands of people are packing the place. It's a show so big it doesn't even fit in one building. It expands over into a stadium. It's so big we needed more than 2 episodes to cover it, and we've spilled over into another episode. So there's so much to see. We're gonna get started with Ted Jones because he's found something cool.
You know, you find some of the neatest cars roving around here at the PRI show. How about a tribute car to Ed Iskandarian, his original 23T. This was built as a salute and memory to that. Look at that beautiful leather interior right there. They did a really nice job recreating this. The thing I like the most, though, are the velocity stacks. This is what fuel injection looked like back in that era, and Ed did a great job. By the way, if you're not familiar with Iskandarian, you probably know him more for Iski cans. So you say you want something different at the PRI show? How about a snowmobile? Now, folks, this isn't just any ordinary snowmobile. This has been clocked at 198 miles per hour going through a 132 drag racing type speed track. Now, who would build such a monster?
Well, I'm actually just the tuner. The sled was built by the guys down at Hypersports for Baines Brothers Racing, Kyle and Chris Baines.
Tell me about the engine.
So the engine is a custom 4-cylinder billet block from Hypersports with Hayabusa cylinder head, running on methanol, single turbocharger, makes over 1,000 horsepower.
Wow. When did you run the 198?
It was just last winter. It was the second to the last event. We were primed to try and go 200 at the last event, but the weather closed in on us and we didn't get a chance to do it.
Didn't hit you at only 198, huh?
It's a long ways from 198 to 200, I'm afraid.
You know, a 2-stroke engine has twice as many exhaust pulses as a 4-stroke at the same RPM. What does that mean? Well, welcome to the Amsoil Tech Tip. Len, man, this is actually a 4-stroke. Everybody knows that, but you probably have a 2-stroke like this, a dirt bike or something going on, and there's a difference. What's the difference? Well, it's going twice as fast. You can see our 4-stroke cycle versus the 2-stroke. It's taken some abuse. Speaking of abuse, man, you actually put it on it. Len, you just don't talk the talk. I don't think our viewers know. I mean, you understand oil inside and out, but you're living it on a daily basis, man. You take this oil, you prove it. I mean, in the harshest conditions, you try to make this stuff fail so you can go in and improve the oil, man. This is some phenomenal stuff, Len. Looking at these parts, these are all 2-stroke parts, and there's issues with them. Talk about the 2-stroke and how you can prevent that.
You know what, John? And if you want to beat on something, you should put it in a rental fleet because, boy, that equipment gets abused. So that was what you were looking at there. We put that snowmobile in a rental fleet. We let them beat on it for an entire season. Then we took it apart, right? Because what you're looking at, as you saw in some of those pictures, we're looking for piston protection. We're looking for cleanliness because in a 2-stroke, the oil is consumed. So there's a tendency to get dirty exhaust, dirty power valves, things like that. So we're looking at piston protection, power valve cleanliness, and then cold temperature performance in the case of that one being a snowmobile.
Now, for me, there's a couple different types of 2-stroke oils. Take us through the Interceptor versus the Dominator.
Sure, it's fairly simple. The Interceptor is for anything that's oil injected. So your snowmobiles, different things like that. It's very well balanced in the fact that it can provide cold temperature performance and all of those different things that we've already discussed. The Dominator is for the track. It's for racing, anything that is competing. So you'll find that recommendation for dirt bikes, for other things that are really, really being abused.
Well, whether you're abusing the equipment like Len does or you're just driving it on a daily basis, no worries. Amsoil has their oil tested and proven. Just go to amsoil.com, get some 2-stroke oil or a bunch of phenomenal products.
Marcus Riedema is our paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week. And back in 1966, Marcus's dad, Pete, bought this brand new 1966 Ford Country Squire station wagon, and he was very proud of it. It carried the Riedemas on lots of family vacations, and it was Dad's daily driver for 22 years until it developed a knock in 1988. He parked it in the garage, and there it sat for 3 decades. When Pete's health began to decline in 2019, Marcus and his family set out to restore the car in his honor. And once the major mechanical stuff was done, Pete was able to go for a ride in his old pride and joy. Sadly, he passed away just a few weeks later, but Marcus has restored the car to its original glory so his children can connect to their grandfather and to their dad's childhood. And the result is what may be the world's finest example of a 1966 country Squire. Do you love cars like Marcus and his father? Well, if you do, you could be our Motorhead of the Week. Just drop us a note at motorheadgarage.tv. We'll talk about you here on the show. We do this every single week here at Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools.com. We hope you come along for the ride next time. Until then, we'll see you. Drive safely.